Morning everyone, we're here with the old Scammell Explorer. Some people are asking me about the engine on here. Well, this is a 1952 Explorer. Had her about 10 years. Of course, originally they had the gasoline, the petrol engine in it. But apparently, the British Army, I was told, put this 6LXB Gardner into this one in 1969. I don't know if that was true or not. But we've had her about 10 years, and just before COVID, the last rally we did, we thought we had a problem with the clutch, was slipping a little bit. So we thought, well, what we'll do is we'll hike the engine out and change the centre plate and have a look at it and that. Well, as we were doing that, taking the engine out, we came across a 6LXCT, which is this engine. We found this on eBay, and I thought, well, if we buy it for spares, that'll be great. We've got something extra. So it was advertised up in a bus depot up near London Way, and it was advertised as a 6LXB, partly rebuilt, and had been laying in the workshop for about 15 years. So tried to contact the guys up there to tell me about it. Nobody could tell me the history about it. Apparently it was in a double-decker bus, and it had a problem with a piston, and they dismantled it, rebuilt it. Anyway, we made the bid on eBay, and we went up to this workshop up in London with a trailer and the lifting tackle, etc. And in this old workshop there's these Volvos and Scanias just scattered all over the floor in bits, and there was this Gardner sat there, pretty well complete. There was no sump on her. Front of the timing cover was all opened up. There was no injectors in it, and so we thought, well, we'll collect as many parts as we could. We had trouble finding the sump, but it was all in clean condition. So we got it all together, and then if you come around this side, we've got the turbocharger. And this is not the original turbocharger, because when we found the engine all in bits, originally I thought it was just a 6LXB, you see, not a turbo version. And then when I looked at the fuel pump's rated at 220. Well, I knew then it was an LXCT. So I found this turbocharger on the floor with all the other bits of the Scania and the Volvo stuff, and chucked it all on the trailer, and we got it home. Long day, 10-hour day it was. By the time we drove up there, loaded it up and got back, and then we started to put it in the workshop and slowly having a look inside. So what we did was, there was no manifolds on it. We got the inspection tool, went up through the valves into the pistons, and you could see that all the bores had been honed and pistons were done right through. And you can see underneath also from the crankcase that it all looked like it had been worked on, and all the valve gear was all clean. So it was saying, what do we do? Do we strip it right down and start again, or take a chance on it? So we dropped a few bearing caps, mains and conrod bearings. They're all in first class condition. We torqued them all up again just to make sure. Then all the oil piping on the bottom, we've renewed all the O-rings, and the oil pump, we checked all the oil pump out. And then the front timing chain, we found that was not running correctly. It was out of line, so we realigned that, the chain, and so anyway, we started building it up. And this turbocharger is not the original one, we found out. So I was starting to rebuild the turbo, and the guy said to me in the turbo shop, what's it off? I said, well, it's off a 6LX CT. He said, no, it's not off a 6LX CT. It's off a 280 horse Volvo. So I picked up the only blower in the shop, thinking that was the right one. Anyway, we made it fit. We put new bearings in and we made it fit. And of course we didn't have any pipe work here, so we had to fabricate the pipe work up. And it's just gone in we put the engine in without the blower on because we didn't know if we could get it in or not. And it's about 1/4 of an inch clearance between the steering box here and the blower, so we've got about 1/4 of an inch gap on there, which is fine because she's not moving at all. So we built it all up, and I think we've got some videos of her running in the workshop actually. I couldn't find anywhere what we could measure the boost pressure. I tried to phone a lot of people up, Gardner people, and they couldn't give me a specific boost pressure reading, but I think it's about 4 psi, that's all it is, about 4 psi. Because we're only going from 180 on the original engine to the 220. I think some of these went up to 230 horsepower. I think they had a lot of these, especially on the double-decker buses in Hong Kong for export. So this one's rated on the pump at 220, and I think this one's got the higher compression pistons on it. We used to fit them on the marine engines to stop them smoking, which certainly helped. So we'll start this one up in a minute. We haven't started it this morning yet, but we'll start her up in a minute. But she's very clean and pulls really well compared to the 180. We're just going to check the oil and water as usual before we start her up. But when we had it, we had a lot of pipe work that was missing that we couldn't find in this old workshop. So we had to get a lot of pipe work, which was supplied by Hubbard Engineering down in Brixham, who are marine engine dealers. We've worked with them before, and we still do today with the boats down there in Brixham. And one of my vessels, we ran 6 LXBs in it. It was on a passenger boat, and the engine was supplied new by Hubbard's, and 26 years later, I ran the vessel about 12 years, but 26 years later we did the pistons and liners, which was exceptionally a lot of hours. But the main bearings, the shaft was in perfect condition. This one, we've had new injectors put in. We did all the injectors, of course, but we'll fire it up anyway. Shall we start it up? Well, we just ran her up, she's still cold, but look at the smoke. Euro 6 compliance. If you like that and you want to see a bit more of the old Scammell, we'll do some more. Please subscribe. Thank you very much.